Good morning. How are you doing this morning? I have been missing for a couple of days, and I didn't give you the heads up. Uh, Last night, yesterday, or last night was good. Yesterday, uh, I didn't feel it. I needed a break before I would crash because I was going, and I was starting new stuff. It wasn't going. I thought it was something I could just, spit out an application for this thing, and that'd be the end of it. For this art thing, and that'd be the end of it. Curses, she didn't. It's my favorite brush. Ah, okay, but turns out that it was a bigger investment, and it didn't go anywhere because they're busy with COVID, but I can still take it somewhere. I can still do artwork to sell on other medias, social medias, but having somebody that's hooked up with the buyers, like art lifting, is what I had planned to do, is a smoother, safer sort of key in. It doesn't mean that I can't go and sell on other social medias. Artwork. And so I'll probably do that. I Yeah, just to get some balls rolling. Um, but financially wise doesn't mean that I should abandon other projects. Yeah. Mm, hmm So I'm just gonna. What I love doing is like there's this you set the canvas basically. So for me, it's the cardboard. So I like to put on a layer, like that's the background or the not even the background. It's just like you just do it to the just lay down a color, lay down something that you put everything on top, whether or not you see it. And I just kind of like doing that. I love black. Love setting everything in the black. Yeah, so nothing on the job front yet. Nothing on the still trying to sell stuff so that I can get rid of the stuff that I don't have to move and sort through everything. And then also I'm trying to look for jobs and try to get a place to live and trying, all sorts of resources, 2-on-1, all the resources they gave me. Yeah, just keep going with you don't give up. It's just I know it's like, oh, so what do we do? Yes, it's scary, but I mean, keep exploring resources, keep going, just keep striving. You know, don't give up. The biggest thing is that you have to be okay and feel like you deserve it. I don't understand how there's elements in our society where they make you feel like you don't deserve, you know, or that you're not good enough to do something. I don't understand that. Oh, there we go. That's nice and smooth. Mm. All right, get through. Find your niches is not always. something for everyone, but a lot of people have a niche. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes I think I need to treat the cardboard. Because, like, some of the times they treat their canvas. So I'm learning more and more. Like, I research, like, on YouTube, and I look at, some PDF books and try to figure out all this stuff with acrylics because I hadn't used it before. But they're affordable at Walmart, so just go with it. I bought the 50-cent ones and a tube. I'd have bought some more with paintbrushes. But it's an investment. And since we already invested in it, I should try to make the means to get the return. I'm still working on the quilt, still working on the rugs that go with the quilts. I'm just, I'm learning that it's make a commitment to something and then put a focus on it. Make a commitment to a small task. Build up a goal and then do it. You know what I realized I hadn't done? Welcome to the Wise One channel. I'm your host, Lady Caren. Thank you for joining us this morning. How are you doing this morning, Aurora? I know you watch because you're awesome. And I can't believe it's probably, I don't know if it's really like 3 a.m. there. It's amazing. I don't know what you do at 3 a.m., but that's awesome. Yeah, my natural, if I didn't have obligations, I didn't have, you know, if I was free to go to bed and wake up whenever, my natural body schedule is 2 a.m. and bed at like 6. So it's like eat food, crash, wake up in the morning with loads of energy and ready to go mentally. And learning who and what you are is a very powerful tool. Self-reflection, self-building. Uh, I was not ready to go this morning. I sit there and I did Facebook. And I was like, it is time to get back to work. If I want to get, because the blases that I just, I'm about to hit one of those burnouts and those blases that you have that you got to watch out for. You got to watch out that taking a break for some people who aren't used to taking breaks and go, 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 and taking breaks and go, 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 or going breaks and working hard and stuff like that, it borderlines that you can fall into a rut and not do anything. So, listening to yourself is that I know that, yes, I took a break. When to push and when not to. I was like, all right, I have to get in the saddle. Yes, I know I'm late, and the strive is to be less late, to bore on time, Monday through Friday, be 6 a.m. through here. I can do that kind of schedule. I can show up at work for somebody else, for McDonald's or some grocery store. I could show up to work because I said, hey, viewers, I'm going to be on at 6. So I need to get my butt disciplined into it. Yeah, no, I'm not getting paid for it. But how am I ever going to get to that point where I do get paid for it and you guys get to enjoy that content that's worth the pay if I don't get my butt up? Deep breath, center myself, focus on what I'm doing and do it. My life has to improve, and you guys have to figure out for yourselves, like, would that work for me? That's amazing. That's a step. Like, what did I tell myself to get myself moving? And quite frankly, yeah. keeping track and writing everything down too in a centralized spot and a centralized method. Doesn't matter if you keep a notebook. Doesn't matter if you keep everything on your phone. Back up your phone. Do that. Back up your phone. Because I'm that kind of person. The universe may not be after people in a paranoid way, but there is. I went to prove it wrong. There are many times where I go to prove this wrong, this hypothetical theory here. So it's a theory because I've worked at trying to prove it wrong. I've worked at variables. What could go wrong? Not everything that could go wrong, but if it could go wrong, it's going to go wrong. So back up my phone. The universe be like, this will go wrong for you. The wrong way things will blow up just because you're doing it, and things will go wrong because you're doing it. Obviously, I must be doing it the wrong way. If like 15 people decided to use a microwave, I would be the 16th person who put an aluminum foil wrapped Pop Tart in to use it. Everybody else uses microwaves, like heat up stuff, microwavable, throw things in, you know. Luckily, I had somebody there to save me that knew about microwaves because it was their microwave. No, we had grown up without a microwave. My parents were smart enough to realize that the more self-reliant, the more at the time. Nowadays, people go and like, oh, this is a great resource. Let's get it out to people, even if they don't have the money. So like phones, smartphones, resources, computers. Like there's places that kids can hop on Wi-Fi to do schoolwork so that they don't get the digital gap, which is ironic because people in Silicon Valley who are sitting there inventing this stuff are like, let's get our kids off of screen time. Such irony. Uh, but if we work on, where was I? I had a point that I was coming around to. Uh, yeah. Whew. So yeah, resources, things like that. Oh, that is pretty. That is nice and smooth. It's black, but like I'm doing a second layer of black on there, like getting like if you get a wall done in your room. They're like, yes, it's a one coat paint. No, it's not. Like I could still see the wall. You have to do more than one coat. This sucker's going to be a black canvas, and I love it. I love contrast. But yeah, you got to learn about yourself and learn about others. Not isolate yourself. That's the hardest part, especially during COVID, because physical isolation is a great idea during a pandemic so that you don't spread diseases that people die from. But mentally and emotionally, you gotta get out there in the world and discover. Just isolating yourself. I mean, it's important that they go and they find Mars, you know, exploration, find out what's on the surface of Mars. Because if you only get a bit of a planet, a little bitty shot here and a little bit of shot there of a planet from some odd years ago, you're going to be missing the whole picture. And if anybody's tried to do things on a small picture or without more of the information, conclusions aren't always the best conclusions or the healthiest conclusions. So, and that, I mean, like, if things piss you off and things make you angry and things upset you, it's probably because you don't have the full picture of something, full understanding. And that That misinterpretation is probably what led to the downfall of my relationship. And that's okay, because that person's missing healthy relationship, not traits. Um, like sometimes you learn, like somebody who's in a good relationship where they learn to put where they already know how to put somebody else first. Somebody who could really, really love another person could be like, they really, really love a person, but they don't know how to invest in that love and put the other person first. That could be something that they could learn, something that they can invest in and learn to slowly, slowly or quickly or whatever it's needed for them to invest in that love. Like, it's great you find your soulmate, but then the real work begins because you've got issues and that other person has issues, but at the same time, you guys both have a lot of things that are great. So, any and every relationship is set up to both doom and fail and succeed and be a wonderful thing because you're human and you have both of those things inside you. And even those traits that are bad can be used, channeled, and created. It was there as a reaction to something or a genetic trait or, a conditioning, training to an environment. So if you learn something to be more healthy, to shut up and listen to your partner. That was something that I tried to work on. One of my flaws is to shut up and listen because I love to interrupt. It's one of the pros of being on YouTube here is that you guys aren't interrupting me. But the cons is that's a one-sided conversation, so I'm not getting the new growth. I'm only relying on self-reflection for growth. So that has its pros and its cons, each in itself. Each action has a pro and a con. How you want to do with it. So on a media platform that I also need to explore to complete it. I mean, I'm reaping a lot of the benefits of improving by getting this stuff out to the viewers to show you guys this is how I'm doing things. Hopefully it's the content you guys like. You hit that subscribe button and that's the kind of content you're getting. But on the other form, it's not the only platform I should use. I should use one where I get feedback from a lot of the viewers or I get feedback, so that I can grow. That's the important part, that growth, that continuous growth, taking a break from growth so that you can build that muscle, build that emotional or mental muscle, just like we build the physical muscles. And that rest period is where it builds, but you can't stagnate growth. So it's great. That's what I had a vision this morning at like 2, 3 o'clock in bed, and I didn't want to get up. Usually I tell myself that if I'm getting up before the alarm goes off at, say, 5, then my job is to get my butt out and go and write, because that's where I have the mental stamina and no physical stamina. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I need to get stuff done, like writing. This morning, I'm like, nah. So I sat there and I thought about growth. Like my sister, she like put me down, like the fact that I sat there and went, woe is me, nobody likes me because I'm the weird one. And I realized why nobody likes me. I hang out with a wide variety of people, which has its pros and cons. And it feels like, but she hangs out with like people. She's into doing film action, so she hangs out with lots of film people. She hangs out at the gas station, so she gets to talking. That's the more people, and she spends a good amount of time with people that are in the like category. The people of very, close to her age, close to her, I'm sure she's got to have a mix of people, different race and different shapes, different colors. Because honestly, there is no actual race. We are so, if you're into if you're really a purebred or one race, you are sickly and in the hospital. I'm telling you, there's no, if you're a nice, healthy person, you probably have more than one ethnicity in your background, keeping you alive, healthy, vital, thriving, so yeah. So she's got to be hanging out with a wider variety of people, no matter what the color, no matter what the thing, but I mean, it's gotta be closer to our age group, so they get to reflect on things that are a lot alike. But I like, to pull on, the difference for me, and that works for her, and that's what she needs, and that's how she thrives. That's inside her box. That's great. I'm sitting here in fringe, and I realize I like people, like, from my kids' school, different parents, uh, that, they usually go for healthy. What you find, a lot of the similar traits is that they go for, like, organic, gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, diets they go into, and they have this nice healthy, um, they could be essential oils and things like that, depending on which parent, and they have certain parenting strategies that are very similar. And like the Montessori school had a lot of the similar, this is the way to help thrive. Your kid's sitting there struggling, but your kid's independent and doing it themselves. And they get a lot of that. The kid gets a lot of the rush from that. And other kids, are their parents or they're helping their kids out and doing things all by themselves and or not doing things by themselves. Their parents are doing these things for them. And I don't understand that, but some kind of pros and cons got to be coming out of that. And that's the thing. Just because I've never actually been to, say China doesn't mean that China doesn't exist. I mean, I got people coming from China and the what is it? The effects of gravity show that the black hole's there even if you couldn't see the black hole back then. And we're learning how to train technology to see black holes is amazing. But to see the result of people that are coming from China, our products are from China, showing the result that it exists. But there's so many other things, so many other smaller countries, so many other, islands, places that I just don't know exist. Doesn't mean that I just the fact that they exist, that such exists. It's out there. It's like the more you find out, the more you find out there's more to find out. So that's always the fun in an actual fun way, not sarcastic. Actual fun thing, to explore, to learn, that gets me excited. So it gets me, elated. Why is there? Okay, I'm soaking it in water to soften it because I don't have the acetone. Acetone. Astrotone. Astrophysics. But yeah, so what I do is, and then I've got my pagan friends. I've got friends that are probably Christian, that aren't pagan and Christian. So religiously, I try to have a wide variety of people. And I try to have a wide variety of people all over the place. So like when I put together a party, people really don't have a niche or commonality other than being at the party, being at the same place. And that's how I work things. So they get, it would be like having a whole bunch of like Biden people and having a few like people that share the same political Green Party beliefs as I do, and then having like one or two Trump supporters in there that aren't so, like, full of Kool-Aid. So, I mean, how do I put it? So it's like a variety of people that don't exactly fit. And so they could see the things that they do like about me, but I'm not going to hide the things they don't like about me and which they don't agree with, which isn't their thing. And I noticed that that does make me the odd one out. Being unpredictable makes me very odd. That you're not getting a consistent 6 a.m., 7 o'clock on the weekends, um, show, I may not have as many subscribers. The fact that I'm like, "Oh, let's do art," and I don't know how much content I'm sitting there doing tarot cards. It's inconsistency. People love consistency so much. My favorite saying is that, people love consistency so much that Twinkie changes their, ingredients twice a year their recipe twice a year so that it tastes the same. I think it's something to do with temperature or their climate or something. Um, yeah, yeah. Or that only the Sith believe in absolution. Yeah. The irony and the oxymorons and the things like that that I feel like I'm a walking oxymoron. The total opposites that exist that shouldn't exist together but exist. That is in the fringe. That is in the French witchcraft, and that is a way of doing things that is new, and the question is, will it thrive in today's society in America? Because, like, culture is different throughout the world. Like, really different throughout the world. So, like, I love my yoga people, oil essential people, breathing, meditation. It's not wrong, and I love it and I do it. But I'm also apparently a person who sits there and obsesses over my ex, which I don't normally do. I don't remember obsessing later on about my exes. I remember obsessing over the experiences, thinking about, oh, yes, this is commonality of what happened, and that still applies. I think I had like somebody like, I wish you wouldn't talk about your ex. I'm like, oh, okay. So, no, I'm not over it. But it would be a lot easier if we hadn't had a kid together. I was like, we wouldn't have to there and figure out custody and all that other stuff. I wouldn't have to keep seeing him. Just forget he exists, block his number, and done with it. Because, yeah, but there are so many things. So I have my flaws and I have to work on them. I you know, meditation is a very powerful and potent ingredient in the recipe towards a better life. And but it's not the main course of the dinner or the meal. Main course of the meal of life. Um, it's not the only frequency. I did a painting of frequency that made me, that I was trying to express different colors, different, smaller frequencies, bigger frequencies. I made them go all over the page instead of the nice little signature rhythm, like, heartbeat rhythm thing that you can measure. The tools usually measure this nice linear, like a spooning fork shows that it only shows right here, but there's a whole field, a whole three-dimensional sphere, a field of energy that makes, a tuning fork go. No. So that's the fun part. It is already 6:52. My apologies. It's already getting to be 7, and I know that I didn't I'm not getting on for a full hour today. I've got stuff that I've got to get going and doing. So I, yeah, breathe. And we can do this. We can totally do this. We'll get through. We'll get through today. You know, and when you take a break, sometimes it feels like it's a potential for a rut, but I got to keep getting into the swing of things and keep moving forward. Even when you don't feel the motivation, you don't rely on the motivation, you rely on after the motivation. That of all the things you didn't feel motivated about, but you did anyways, or the fact that you didn't feel like getting up somehow or getting through the day before, you still managed with more days and more days after that. And you're still stuck with these days. You're still stuck with life. So you're going to have those later on. You know, just keep going like you have more days later on and that you have to get to those. That may be the best advice for some and the absolute worst advice for others. So if this is your best advice, take it. If this is not, scroll on. That was not advice for everybody, unless they can view it or put it in a perspective that becomes their advice. That's the other thing. That's another tool. So we can perceive information and perceive our way of doing information. But I was going to talk about how, I was going to talk about a couple of things, and I didn't get to those today. So that means they'll be later on topics. I'll write them down, and we'll just keep going. But yeah, so tomorrow is Saturday. I'm not doing Patreon. I'm going to go into Patreon and tell them I'm on a hiatus, like I thought I had done a couple of weeks ago. But I don't remember the actual doing. I just remember thinking of it and envisioning myself doing it, that I, forget that I still have to do it. I mean, I really immersed myself like a spell of like, oh, I have to do this. And then I envisioned doing it. Like, oh, how is that going to go? What am I going to, oh, hi, Christine, Christine, Kristen, Music and Life. Hi, I caught you live again. Woohoo! Hi, Kristen. Yes, you did. And I'm about to hop off because it's like 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, I have to get my rear end off and doing the things that actually involve having to do. This is the nice fun talking about stuff. I hope you're doing good, Kristen. I hope that you're having a good day and that, life is treating you well. And I'm glad you caught me live. Tomorrow you should be able to catch me live. I'll be starting at 7. Fingers crossed. I'm going to strive towards starting at 7. I'm not going to promise or guarantee because I'm having a history of going up. So I apologize for yesterday for not being on, and I hope that I keep going. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate you guys coming on. And you guys are very positive too. So that makes it the small community. It makes it really, really heartfelt to come on and talk to you guys, and hopefully provide you guys with the content that you guys actually enjoy, even if I'm rambling and just background noise. And sometimes people need that, just talking in the morning and positive and the negative and all the things that, I include. And yeah, it's you guys that really inspire for me to have this in my life. And honestly, having a consistency of showing up, even if I don't get paid for it, has really been a nice steady rock, has been a really a great motivational tool to just get up in the morning. And, whether I like it or not, whether I'm embarrassed about past content or not, I will be starting again with the tarot cards. It's just this art thing kind of like eloped me, and I went away with it. I just started running away with art. like I just finished the back, and I'm waiting for it to. I just wait for it to dry, and then I realized I've got 5 minutes before I have to move my butt. So I love, like, there's some of the pieces. They're all upstairs. There's some of these pieces that I just look at and I go, I did that. Would I put that on a corporate wall? Would I find that in the doctor's office or the dentist's office? And I go, yes, yes, I would. Holy mamolies. There's probably one that probably wasn't for corporate wall though. I realized it took me a minute, and I realized I put runes on, like Furthic runes. I don't know how they pronounce the Furthic, Eldic Furthic runes. Um, like the Vikings. We'll just put it that way. It's incorrect terminology, but I'll just say it anyway. It's like Viking runes. And I put on Samaritan writing, and I put on symbolism, and I put on, I just started with a blanket of X's because I love doing, it's a pattern that I love doing, like the X's, and there's sometimes the textures that make from just doing the blocks of X's. X's are probably my favorite shape. um, you know, it's it's got its ways. So I did it, and I was like, I realized, and I put so moted be, so it's spell work in the painting, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna sell it. The spell work was to sell the artwork. Um, that's what's the spell, is to sell the artwork. So I'm gonna sell it. That completes the spell. Okay, so conclusively, going to be on tomorrow at 7. I know 7, 8. Yeah, 8, 9, 7. 7. I had 7 right correctly. 7 a.m. That's probably an incorrect way of saying the time for sign language, but I'm still learning, so bear with me. I'm gonna turn that off. Get my butts moving. Tell you guys how much I love you. Love you. Love you. Love, love, love. Hugs and kisses. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. So the next time I'm on, next video you watch, you'll see me and I'll see you. Bye. Have a good one. Button.